Proudly brought to you by Durban Tourism.
Sanmonani and welcome. KwaZulu-Natal has a well-deserved reputation for being the country's playground. A short drive up the north coast will prove that KZN truly has more. That's pristine beaches, rich cultural heritage, and all kinds of adventure activities. And we'll take you through some of those and the best attractions that the province has to offer. Join me, Ropi Wamadzana, as we do KZN. We start our journey this week in the heart of Zululand. Groutville was formerly a mission reserve administered by an elected chief, and under the height of apartheid, it represented a microcosm of complexities affecting all South Africans of color. But today, it is more commonly known as the birthplace of one of South Africa's greatest.
About 45 minutes drive from Durban, some 10 kilometers to the south of KwaZulu-Natal, is one of the most historically significant towns in South Africa that you've probably never heard of. Groutville was established in 1844 as the Christian Umvoti Mission Reserve and developed into a hub for the local sugarcane industry, with many aspiring African farmers. But it was the actions of one man and his family that put Groutville on the map.
Right here we are at the house of Chief Albert Luthuli, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate of 1960, and the home of Chief Albert Luthuli. This is where he lived with his family from 1927 until his death in 1967. So today I'm standing in this building here where it is now a museum on history, a museum which promotes the legacy of what Chief Albert Luthuli stood for.
Inkosi Albert Luthuli was a very important leader of the African National Congress. And of course, what makes the museum that particularly important, especially now in 2018, as we celebrate the centenary of Nelson Mandela, he was coming from a meeting with Albert Luthuli when he was arrested in Howick. And so the whole journey that Nelson Mandela took before he went to Robben Island actually begins at the Albert Luthuli area, which of course now the museum then is a reflection of that particular meeting point. And then of course went on to be arrested in Howick, made his way to Robben Island, and then came back to vote in the first democratic elections in 1994 in Durban. And so the museum for us is a rich history of where we come from as a country, but also a celebration of a peace laureate, because he received the Nobel Peace Prize, Albert Luthuli, and so is a figure to celebrate both in terms of South Africa's past of the struggle, but also celebration of democracy. Even though he never lived to see the democracy, but he was a big influencer to ensuring that we have a democratic South Africa.
After working as a teacher in the surrounding areas, Luthuli returned to Groutville in 1936 to take up the position of chief, to which he had been elected by the community. And it's here in Groutville that he would become one of the biggest thorns in the apartheid government's side. In 1944, he joined the African National Congress, became president of the organization in 1952, and was the first African to win the Nobel Peace Prize in 1961.
This is the original home of Chief Albert Luthuli, where he lived. And what you can see in this house is a statue of Chief Albert Luthuli himself. He was a man who spent most of his time in this house. He loved reading. He loved spending time in writing.
Apart from being the general president of the ANC at that time, he was also a lay preacher at a UCC church. So most of his values and philosophies were founded on Christianity, as he believed that South Africa would attain freedom through non-violent means.
Officially opened in 2004 by former President Thabo Mbeki and declared a national monument, the Albert Luthuli Museum includes the original home where Luthuli served 4 banning orders during his lifetime. While the museum is a celebration of the life of Luthuli, visitors can also visit his final resting place. The graves of Luthuli and his family are a short drive from the museum, declared a National Heritage Site on the 50th anniversary of his death.
We are very clear as Tourism KZN and as government that, and really it's trends globally, that tourism should benefit communities, that they should participate. You know, long gone are the days where tourists came in, empowered just a few in terms of product owners, you know, in the tourism value chain. It has to be about the local communities. It has to be about the sustainability of those local communities. It is about responsible tourism. And so it's very important then to ensure that the benefits of tourism are felt by local communities in terms of job creation, in terms of opportunities for business, and so on.
The life of Chief Albert Luthuli is vital to the story of overcoming apartheid in South Africa, as it's from here that many vital decisions were taken by the leadership of the struggle. Open all year round with free entrance and surrounded by the beauty of the Zulu kingdom, why not take the time to walk through the original 1927 house of one of modern South Africa's founding fathers?
Take a drive further up KZN's north coast and you'll drive straight into a World Heritage Site, and for good reason. St. Lucia is situated on the northeast coast of Zululand with an abundance of natural beauty and environmental tourism, and is the start of the Isimangaliso Wetland Park. But make sure you watch out for some of the area's best known residents.
Lucia is a very unique town and very popular as well. And again, it's popular in terms of its offerings from, you know, it's a coastal town, and so it's a World Heritage Site. So there are these pristine beaches. There are all these experiences. There's this amazing experience where you can see the turtles when, you know, when they hatch. And you know, that whole experience is just an amazing goosebump experience. But also, what makes it also very popular is that just around the corner in Gugulethu you can experience the Big 5. And then in St. Lucia, we always say it's a Big 7, because you then do the Big 5 and then you can then see the hippo, you know, and you know, so you are able to have a safari experience in terms of bush and a water safari experience. And so that makes it very unique. And we are actually in a process of actually enhancing those experiences in St. Lucia. We are working with this Mangaliso Wetland Park to find ways in which, in terms of product offering, you know, hotels to be developed. So we're looking at various exciting projects, especially from a beach resort offering. But there's a myriad of experiences. A quaint little town, but which really has a nice captured natural beauty in as far as the beaches that we have and the wildlife that we enjoy in that area.
Now, we can't speak of Zululand without mentioning possibly its greatest son, Shaka Zulu. And if you venture towards Ishowe, you'll find a living monument to the culture he helped create. People from across the world and different walks of life come to Shakaland to experience the vibrant Zulu culture firsthand, and also it helps that it's located among some of the prettiest views in the country.
Just 160 kilometers north of the city of Durban is a living monument to Zulu culture. People from all over the world come to experience the lifestyles, social systems and rich culture of the Zulu nation here at Shakaland. The village consists of a rural homestead that is still inhabited, as well as a hotel and conference facility with 55 rooms. Cultural advisors are on hand to provide guests with authentic Zulu culture.
Shakaland is really, you know, a journey through a typical Zulu cultural experience. Of course, as Tourism KwaZulu-Natal, we sell this destination as the Zulu Kingdom. We say we are the Zulu Kingdom, we are exceptional. Why do we say that? We say that because we realize that there is this fascination by international tourists on the whole Zulu culture. You know, King Shaka Zulu and, you know, this mighty warrior that conquered. And so we really capitalized on that to say, come and see how the Zulus live today, but how they used to live. And so Shaka Land is really a cultural village that takes a tourist trade journey of a typical Zulu village experience back in the day, and in some parts of the province, especially the rural parts of the province, even today, how they live. And so there's a lot of work to actually enhance the experience at Shaka Land, but it is a real gem in terms of being a must-do on the itinerary from a cultural tourism point of view.
Shaka Land was originally built as the film set for the hit television epic Shaka Zulu in the 1980s, but has since played host to thousands of tourists in search of the complete Zulu experience. The venue offers different cultural tours, which includes beer drinking ceremonies, visits to the Sangoma, as well as an overview of fighting formations, all while taking in the glorious views of the surrounding Mhlatuzi Valley.
What a typical visitor now does is to want to experience quite a few things. And so we are very versatile with our itineraries. So the Zulu experience is part of the itinerary, but we do find that at the heart of the experience that they want to have in KwaZulu-Natal, it is about the safari experience. It is about culture, which is very strong, but it also is about adventure, and it is about our warm Indian Ocean waters. And so we tailor-make experiences for different audiences based on market needs. But definitely, the Zulu cultural experience is a must, very popular, because it's a journey through another culture. I mean, if you think of a typical tourist, wherever you travel, the one thing that you can't live without experiencing is the local culture, because heritage makes the destination, and so it's a very important part of the tourist experience.
And on that note, that's all for this show, but hopefully you've seen some of the great attractions that KZN has to offer. We leave you this week with more from the traditional Zulu dancers at Shaka Land. From me, Ropiwa Madzena, Salani Gahle, and goodbye.